Determination of situations of extracurricular practices carried about robotics, coding and electronics. Abstract. In this study, it was aimed to determine the extracurricular practices in the school related to robotics, coding and electronics, and to determine the view of teachers about these practices. Within the context of this study, the data were collected from teachers or administrators from 52 public schools in Avcılar district of Istanbul province, using an online interview form. Descriptive analysis. One of the qualitative data analysis methods was used to examine the data obtained from the study. Obtained results were analyzed within the framework of the determination of current status, the determination of schools' requirements, future plans of schools, and the contribution of robotics, coding and electronic applications to education. In addition, teachers stated that such practices improve students' high-level skills and increase interest and awareness towards the school. Keywords: robotics, coding, electronics, teacher views. Discussion and conclusion. When literature review is carried, it is seen that practices including robotic, coding and electronics components have an important potential to influence the nature of engineering and science education at each level of education from primary school to university. Materik 2004. Alamisis 2013. At many schools on the world, robotics and coding are included at education programs and taught to students at their early age. Ospanikova, Arshavan Ilgin 2015. Roncesvalles, Boldi, Gasela, Anama and Karta 2019. At this scope, targets regarding robotic coding in our country are added to recent programs. Sayan and Safarlut 2016. Nevertheless, these studies do not take shape according to only education program but also to teacher, students, school policies and equipment of schools. In our study, it was seen that the practices of robotic coding and electronics of schools that we determined the current situation were carried in the extracurricular activities rather than the scope of formal education. The reason of this can be as sufficient number of students were not attended workshops. Another result we obtained from the determination of current situation is that it was seen that our school's studies focused on robotics, coding and technology were concentrated on it the last 2 years. The reason of this can be as those teachers do not have sufficient knowledge and skills about this new emergent field, and those workshops are established at schools lately. Researches carried out show that only a few teachers have experience and skills to carry this kind of activities, and that who those have skills about technology, at best situations, know how to use some computer applications. Burst Ponte, Juliet Vieira and Shanker 2002. In addition, that these educations were not given yet at the preschool period that we obtained from current situation. Determination is a remarkable topic. However, it is said that giving robotic education to children at an early age is very important. That children should be introduced to robotic coding at an early age. And robotic coding activities should be included in education curricula along with preschool education. Tunkin Kinkal 2018. Robotic coding and electronic practices in primary schools have been undertaken by primary school teachers and in secondary schools by science and IT teachers. In high schools, it is seen that more branch teachers are undertaken. In the responses received at the schools, it was shown that the students did not demand. This is the reason for the low implementation of the schools. However, studies demonstrate that robotic coding is in the direction that middle school students find the activities enjoyable and interesting. They are willing to participate in the activities and think that they contribute positively to their personal development. Kasilak 2017. The opinion of teachers and administrators that there is no student demand contradicts these results. Such an opinion may be because school administrators and teachers are afraid of this technological application and do not consider themselves sufficient. Explaining this result, Michi Turkernpala 2018 stated in their study that an indispensable part of the teachers did not consider themselves sufficient in coding or only at a basic level. According to the study, it is seen that the expectations of schools from District 1 are in a manner to improve themselves in schools according to answers of schools participating in the study. It is seen that support is sought to get efficient result by reaching to large mass, not limited only with school by demanding teacher and student coaching or parent seminar. When it is looked at future plans of teachers participated in the study about robotic coding and electronics, it is seen that schools that are insufficient on these subjects want to participate in educations expected to be given in the body of province or district. It is seen that, on the other hand, those who receive this education want to participate in competitions or establish laboratory or coding workshops. According to Boutner and Dundar, 2018, it was seen that teachers in charge at schools that received education want to contribute to schools in which they want to advance the education by being more motivated and removing prejudices. When answers given to the question about what contribution of robotic coding and electronics practices to the education are examined, it was concluded that it would improve the top-level skills. The interest and awareness toward the school would increase. In addition, technology would be used in a more conscious way by being followed closely. According to Kankaya, Derek and Yunkel, 2017, it was concluded that positive results were obtained from students who received education at the result of programming training with robots, and it increased their motivation. Kirkin, 2018, found out that basic robotics education has positive impacts on solving problem skills of 7 highly talented science students at the result of study art centers, and stated that students continue producing products based on robotics after education. Conclusions below were reached in the study. It was found that robotic coding and electronic practices were applied mostly at secondary school level among the examined schools. In addition, it is determined that coding lessons are preferred more than robotic and other electronic applications. It is seen that secondary schools have more place in terms of places in which extracurricular activities can be carried at schools. It is also seen that they are more equipped to compare with schools at other levels in terms of support, education rooms, number of libraries, number of laboratories, and coding workshops. When the number of schools that carry this kind of studies is examined, it is seen that higher numbers are reached at secondary schools. When looked at the situations of teachers received education about robotics, coding, and electronics, it is seen that there are more teachers who receive education at secondary schools again. When the branches of teachers who carry out robotic coding and electronic studies are examined, it is seen that informatics teachers at the secondary schools and physics teachers at the high schools carry out the studies. As reason to failure of practices expected to be carried out is shown as primarily lack of personnel, insufficiency of physical conditions, and then that there is not enough materials. When coding programs used by schools are examined, it is seen that Scratch and Arduino are preferred primarily. When the electronic devices used by schools are examined, it is seen that Arduino applications were given place and that they used Arduino starter sets predominantly as robotic set. It is seen that schools await for support from District 1 about arranging teacher seminars, establishing workshop laboratory, giving educations to students, coaching teachers and students, and providing financial support. When looked at teachers' expectations from future about topic, it is seen that they predominantly want to participate in seminars about subject, workshops and laboratories to be established at their schools, and financial support to be provided for materials. They stated that these kinds of studies at throughout of schools improve students' high-level skills, increase interest, motivation, awareness to school in a positive manner, contribute to their awareness of technological developments and to use it in a more conscious way, give possibility them to practice engineering skills, and particularly have important contribution to preparing of students in the country for future Findings in relevant literature show common trait with opinions emergent as the result of research carried. It is thought that use of practices of robotics, coding and electronics in lessons or extracurricular activities will provide a more effective learning environment. Common opinion of all the schools that received or want to receive education in these fields is that robotic and coding practices have positive impact on students' academic success, attitude and motivation. In addition, that this field is supported by more education and prepared guidebook as among needs. It has been concluded that schools are showing willingness for learning about robotic coding and electronics, but education and its possibilities are insufficient. It has seen that some teachers are prejudiced against robotic coding, but this will disappear along with the education to be received. From point of view of research conclusions, it might be offered that education is to be given to educators, protectors and students at schools, and that, together with this, they are provided with environments in which they can carry out these educations.